Okay, there are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. And the Arctic trails have their secret tales that'll make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen strange sights, but the strangest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Labarge that I cremated Sam McGee. Now Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home round the world to roam, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him in its spell, though he'd often say in his homely way that he'd rather live in hell. So on a cold Christmas day, we were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. And talk of your cold, through my parker's fold it stabbed like a driven nail. If her eyes closed, the lashes froze, so sometimes we couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that same night, as we lay wrapped tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed, and the stars o'erhead were dancing to and fro, he turns to me and, "Pard," says he, "I'm going to cash in this trip, I guess, and if I do, I'm hoping that you won't refuse my last request." Well, he looked so low I couldn't say no, and then he says with a kind of a moan, "It's this awful cold. It's got right hold, and I am froze right through to the bone. But it ain't being dead. It's my awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear by foul or fair that you'll cremate my last remains." Well, a pard's last need is the thing to heed. So I said it would not fail. We started on at the crack of dawn, but oh, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched in the sleigh and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee, and by nightfall a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. Now there wasn't a breath in that land of death, and I hurried horror-driven, with the corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of my promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, "You may test your brawn and your brain, but you promised true. It's up to you to cremate these last remains." Now a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trails have their secret code. And in the days to come, though my lips were dumb, in my heart I hated that load. And in the night, by the half firelight, with my huskies round in a ring, howling out their woes at the homeless snows, oh, how I hated that thing. But on we went, though the dogs were spent, the grub was getting low, the trail was bad, and I felt half mad, but I swore I would not give in. So I used to sing to that grisly thing, and it hearkened to me with a grin. And then we came to that marge on Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, but I knew in a trice it was named the Alice May. And I looked at it, and I thought a bit, and I looked at my frozen chum, and "Here," said I with a sudden cry, "is my crematorium." Some planks I tore from the cabin floor. I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found was lying around. I piled the fuel higher. The flames soared, the furnace roared, such a blaze you never did see. And then I poked a hole in the glowing coals, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I took a hike, 'cause I didn't like to hear him sizzle so. And the heavens scowled, my huskies howled, and the wind began to blow. It was terrible cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my face, and I didn't know why. And the greasy smoke in its inky cloak went scudding down the sky. Now I don't know how long out there in the snow I wrestled with my grisly fear. But the stars come out and danced about ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said I should take a look inside. I guess he cooked, and this time I looked, and the door I opened wide. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of the furnace roar. And he wore a smile, you could see a mile. He said, "Please shut that door. I'm fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and storm. Since I left Plumtree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm." so that's it. That's